If you're watching us on YouTube, make sure to like and subscribe. That really, really does a lot for us. Also, make sure you tick that notification bell to follow up on everything that we're doing. And if you're listening on any of the audio platforms, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, whatever you like, click the subscribe button. Make sure you follow us. Make sure you leave a comment and rate us. We really love when y'all interact with us, and it helps us out a lot. Appreciate y'all.
And we showing everybody how to grow their confidence. One for all and gold like Donovan gold. So we go
beyond the game, beyond the same. Changing the culture and the landscape. To the court, to the field, to the skates. Get the real from the game.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the Beyond the Game podcast. This is the Leadership Academy. Today, I am so happy to be on again with one of my best friends, Orion Edwards. Actually, this is special because this is Oe's second appearance on the podcast. He was one of our original guests when we first started, and I'm so happy that we're able to have you back. I know that first podcast interview did really well, and we were able to talk about the ups and downs of sport and kind of letting go and letting God handle what we go through, right? Because there's so many things that we as athletes, as people, cannot control, but being able to kind of have that person have that faith to be able to rely on someone that's stronger than us, that fills in our weaknesses. That's so important. I'm so glad that you're back. Quick little intro for Orion. I just want to take some time to give him his flowers. Oe and I we've been boys since, we would say, 2014. We met at an Athletes in Action national training camp, shout out AIA, in Ottawa. We connected over our love for football and God, and we did our thing at NTC. It was a grind. If y'all know anything about NTC, it's a grind. Special is, trauma. Anyway, we've been close since then. At that point we just started growing our dreadlocks. At that point, and obviously we both cut our hair, and we were starting different journeys. It is what it is. Oe had a phenomenal football career at the University of Guelph. He was a DB there. 4 years at Guelph.
I was at Guelph for 5 years. I played 4 because my ACL.
Yes,
my senior year.
Yes, we can definitely get into that. But yeah, I played 4 years at University of Guelph. Probably one of the hardest hitting defensive backs I've ever seen play. If you see his highlight tape, he is a dog. But had his transition out of football, working with Athletes in Action for a year, interning with them for a year in Seattle, and then had an opportunity to go to camp with the Toronto Argonauts. However, turned that down because of his call and his feeling of working for Athletes in Action. And so he did his thing, and now he made his transition to a new sport, bobsled, which is something that I think is really interesting. And he has been a Team Canada Bobsled athlete since 2019, officially a pilot with Team Canada Bobsled since 2021, and competing, doing his thing, breaking boundaries, and just pushing the envelope. And just, Orion, I appreciate you. I love you as a brother. You know this. Yes, you stood next to me at my wedding.
Yes, sir. What an honor. What an honor, bro.
Beautiful, and I really appreciate the friendship that we have, and I really appreciate you coming back on here as a guest, because I know your journey, and I'm so excited for you to share more of that, to see the growth that you've had since then, to see how your leadership has expanded over the years. And first of all, just appreciate you, love you, bro, and I'm so excited to get going.
Man, it's mutual. It's both sides, man. I'm honored to be back on the podcast. I remember the first time we did it, we were in your parents' basement, and I think we had planned to only record for 45 minutes, but it ended up being an hour and a half because we were just having so much fun. So when we discussed doing it again, I don't forget who asked you. I don't know if I asked you to come back on or you asked. I don't know. All I know is mutual, that we were both yes, let's do it. And man, I'm excited to be here. Man, I think I listened definitely listened to all season 1. I listened to like 6 episodes of season 2. So I'm stoked to be part of season 3, man.
I appreciate it, bro. Thank you so much. Before we get going into the meat of the entire podcast, I would love just for you to to introduce yourself a little bit to the viewers here.
Oh man, introduce myself. Well, first, my name is Orion Edwards, as Shocker just said. I'm a first generation Jamaican Canadian. I'm a God fearing man. I'm a follower of Christ. I'm a husband as of 2021. Shocker would have
Yes,
been there
sir.
standing over there with me if it wasn't for the pandemic, but thankful for that. I'm a son. I'm a brother. And I'm on a relentless pursuit to become the first Black male Olympic pilot to represent Team Canada.
Love
hopefully at 2026 in Italy, baby, Milan Cortina. And we'll see from there.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. If y'all know the way this man works, I have no doubt that it's happening. So we're gonna keep praying for you. We're gonna keep cheering you on, bro.
Yes,
and we're gonna revisit this after 2026.
Oh, let's do it, man. Let's do it.
Bro. You're speaking it now. Okay. So, Orion, can you just tell us a little bit about leadership? What is leadership to you? How and once you do that, can you kind of give us an origin story to your definition of leadership?
What is leadership to me? Okay, leadership. Leadership is the ability to mobilize people to accomplish a goal. You know, and where I got that definition from, I took when I was in university, I took a leadership certificate, and when the classes had something along those lines, I think I had a couple of like definitions, but I feel like leadership is like you're helping a group of people to move from individuals to become a group to become a team to accomplish one goal, whatever that goal is. So you could be leaders in sport, leaders in the classroom, leaders in the community, leaders in a business, whatever it may be. So
Okay.
I think with that is often like to be a leader, you have to recognize the skill sets that people have and recognize that the diversity in the skill sets as well. And like, see, like this person might be good at this thing, this person might be good at this thing, and know how to like, I guess use the word marry them together and bring them together and make it work in a synergy.
Okay. I like that. And has your definition and leadership style kind of evolved over time? And if so,
I think my definition has become more concrete over the past like 2 or 3 years. Okay. That like leadership's ability to mobilize people to accomplish a goal. But I think my leadership style kind of has started to shift. I think before coming from a football background, I thought I knew the importance of a vocal leader. You think of those guys like Ray Lewis and like just really vocal football like players and kind of a little hype getting you going. But I'm starting to realize that people watch your actions more than they listen to your words. So you can say as much as you want, but if you lead by example, like it says so much more. And like I think I've seen that happen just like more and more lately. So I kind of started to gravitate towards that. Like I think words need to be exchanged, but it doesn't have to always be rah rah rah. If you know what I mean.
Absolutely.
And follow through is important too as well.
Yes, absolutely. I think I was going to say throughout our sporting experience, you can definitely pinpoint people who have been those vocal rah rah Ray Lewis type leaders, but you've also seen those people who may not necessarily have that voice, but you know that if something is going on or if you're lost, say you don't know the play, you don't know your alignment, your assignment, you can go to that person and ask questions, and that they will walk you through it. They will pull you to the side, like, hey, I see you're kind of messing up here and there. Here's how we're going to go about doing this. And those days are so important too, because not everybody responds the same way to that rah type of energy, right?
Yep.
I feel there's a time and place for all types of leadership, right? And to be able to flow and adapt to different types of leadership and different types of people is crucial to being a good leader.
Definitely. I think even with that, like, there's some people, they walk into the room, or some leaders, they walk into the room and they have like a presence, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And you know that like when they're there with you, that there's a certain standard that needs to be met.
Yes.
And because they consistently meet that standard and try to go above it, you know that now you have to rise to that occasion as well too. I think there's a huge importance on like servant leadership as well. I think people respond well to that, and like a leader that's willing to put their followers ahead of them, but like even in a sense of like them willing to do the dirty work and like give their followers a day off or a break, whatever it is. Like people respond to that and be like, you know what, yeah, like my leader's willing to be uncomfortable for a little bit so that way the whole team could be more comfortable. Like people respond to that really well.
Absolutely. I think there can be huge misconceptions around servant leadership, because that is my favorite type of leadership, right? I think when people think servant leadership, they automatically think oxymoron. They automatically think that doesn't make sense. And I'm not, as a leader, I'm not going to lower myself. It's like, no one's saying lower yourself. We're saying just put the people you're trying to serve ahead of you. In the way I see leadership, it's all about how you serve others. It's all about how you elevate others. How are you going to put others in position to succeed? Yeah. And by doing that, you're making their path that much easier. You're allowing them to shine, and you're not necessarily the one taking all that credit, because you want your team to succeed, right? People talk about diversity all the time, right? Diversity is great. Diversity in appearance, diversity in culture, diversity in thoughts. But once you have all that diversity on a team, it doesn't make sense for one person to just call all the shots and have that one track mind. Like, you fought for this diversity, why not use it? Yeah. Right. So as a leader, as a servant leader, especially, being able to find the right fit for your team, find the right fit for the people that you're in charge of, quote unquote. I think that's super important, because now you're saying to your team, I believe in you and I believe in your skill sets enough to allow you to go be the star, but I'm going to do everything in my power to make sure that you are the star. I think that's so crucial, because now you're empowering other people. They feel empowered, they feel valued, and the work that they do is just going to be so much better because they feel that they have value. Yeah,
definitely, man. Definitely. And I think that takes a place of, that'd be humble, right? And like place of humility. And I was watching the Dwayne Wade 30 for 30 documentary on Netflix, and he was talking about like the Miami Heat and how they went for, I think it was they lost in the finals when they had the big three there, like with LeBron, Chris Bosh, and Dwayne. But the second year, Wade went to LeBron and said, "Hey, I want you just to take over. Like, don't worry about me. Don't worry about how to share the rock. I want to put the team in the best position possible. If that means you take more of the glory or more of the starship, I'm willing to do that for a team to win a finals." Yeah. And as soon as that was said, LeBron's like, okay. Like, I think they're such strong competitors that they're willing to do whatever it takes. But I think like they also, there was a little bit of hesitation where LeBron's like, yeah, like, but like this is Wade's team. Like this is D Wade's team. I'm just coming to help and like be like, you know what, we need you to be at your best, to be the best player on the court for you to help us. And I kind of let go of the reins, and he was able to run free and play free. So that's important as a leader, you know?
That's so important. I think more people need to not necessarily take that on, because that's not everybody's style always, right? But be able to see it and adapt to it if need be, right? Yeah. I feel we can keep going on this for a long time. So let's keep pushing. So let's talk a little bit about you and your upbringing. What was it like? What was your upbringing like? How many sports did you play? Are you one of those kids that did absolutely everything, or what?
Yeah, my upbringing. So as I mentioned before, I'm a first generation Jamaican Canadian. My mom moved to Toronto when she was 12 years old. My dad when he was 20. I grew up in Newmarket, Ontario. Um, and like sports is like it's always just been in my life.
Mm.
It was I think okay. So there's been rumors said that like I used to watch basketball as a baby. I don't know how much I believe that, but I know I was obsessed with sports from a kid.
Mm-hmm.
And I played basketball growing up until I was about like 13. And then, I transitioned into football and then from football to bobsled. I always like sports has always just been like around my life. I always enjoyed it. I enjoyed like the challenge behind it. I enjoyed training for it. I enjoyed practicing. I enjoyed like the unity with it as well. And like, meeting other team members from different schools and different areas and like how like sports such a universal language as well. So I guess one thing I didn't mention, I kind of skipped through quickly. Like I am from like a divorced family, so like my mom was a single parent. But I have a great relationship with my dad, and like he's he's been awesome, and like especially in my bobsled journey as well. Like really, just like even times I need to bounce ideas off of him or to feel a little bit encouraged, like I call my dad and he'll give me a good word there. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Nice. Very nice. And at what point did you realize that you wanted to play pro sports?
Yeah, I think I've always wanted to be a professional athlete. I from like kindergarten, we're like, oh, what do you want to be when you're growing up? I'm like, well, I want to be in the NBA. Like I always wanted to be a professional athlete, and like, um, like whether it was like the NBA or then like the CFL, and now like technically I'm a amateur athlete. Being
Which is wild, by the way.
which,
Okay, first of all, you are playing on the national team. You're a national team athlete, and you're considered an amateur athlete. Make it make sense.
I don't know. I don't know. But I always wanted to have sports be a job, and like I'm enjoying my job now. Like I enjoy that. Training is a constant part of like my role as a national team athlete. It's constant.
Mhm.
Like we talk about job responsibilities. You know,
Mhm.
pushing like that's on the list of responsibilities there. So
Mhm.
yeah, always wanted to be a professional athlete or an athlete.
Love that. I absolutely love that. And people have these dreams, and I know young kids we have hoop dreams. We're like, all right, we're going pro. We're making it to the league. But when did it become a reality for you? Because the statistics are not necessarily in everybody's favor to
No.
make it to the professional level.
What's the stat? I think they said like football players, high school football players, the likelihood for them to go and that make it to the NFL is like 1%, right? Something like that.
Something like that, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
it's
and then
very,
basketball is like even lower, and then like
yeah, exactly.
it's actually insane. Like when you like think about it, that's insane.
Mhm.
But to go back to your original question, like when did it actually kind of become a reality? Um, I think I'll say like kind of two moments. The
Mhm.
one moment when I got a call like from the Argos to come to the training camp. If you want to hear that story, go listen to the old podcast.
It's on
From
there,
season
exactly.
one. It's on there. It's a cool story. I think when I first got that call, I was like, wow, like this could be real. But the second part where like I realized, like things are being an athlete, being a pro athlete, becoming reality is back in 2019 in October when I first tried out for the national team as a bobsled athlete. I was crashing at my boy's house. His name is Roy Smechi. He plays for the Argos now, but he was playing for the Stamps in the CFL at the
Yep.
time. And I remember I got an email. They said they'll send out a list of who made the team. Got an email, firstly saying congratulations, you made the team as a development athlete and national team development athlete. And I remember I looked at it and I was just like, I kind of just like sat on the couch and Russ like, what? I was like, bro, like I made the team. And I thought I was about to get cut. And like, I was like, I made the team. He's like, congrats, man. I was like, yeah. I was like, yo, my life just changed. I remember I said to him like, yo, my life just changed. My life
Mm-hmm.
just changed, and like, like it's and it did, like it's like bobsled has become a huge part of my life, and like, that's a reason why like my wife and I are here now in Calgary, or actually Airdrie, Alberta, which is 20 minutes north of Calgary, but that's why we're here to pursue.
Wow. Yes. Yes. Okay. And so when you got, so also you get this email that now you're on the national team, you're a part of their development team. And so once you start training with them, were there people that you look to for inspiration to continue to grow? Because now you're in a totally different realm than football. Well, actually, there's some people who made the transition from football to bobsled. So
Jesse
maybe
Lumsden,
maybe some familiar faces there. I guess one of the most legendary ones is Jesse Lumsden. You're right, and there's others. Shaq Lawrence is on the team as well, right?
Yeah. Shaq
so there definitely there's some translation. But in terms of their career paths, I think it's still very different, right? So when you made the team and when you started training with the team, who did you look up to help push you?
Yeah. When I first made the team, who I look up to, I think like even like growing up, kind of like go a little bit farther back. I think even growing up, like some people like Kobe or Jordan or whoever it may be, they have like one person that really inspired them, like one professional athlete really inspired them. I think I had many people. I took different aspects from different people I admired, and not just like professional athletes, but also like family members and like friends as well. Like even my friend group is like is very diverse in like who they are as a person. And like I think like when you look at my friend group and look at me, I think it kind of like it represents who we all are as people. But some people I looked up to, like definitely Lascelles Browns, aka King, and like Neville Wright. They're both Jamaican Canadian bobsledders. They both like pushed insanely fast, like ice house record fast, and like also even just like as I said, Jamaican Canadian, even being black bobsledders, it's like we're seeing more diversity in the coming years, but it also isn't a very diverse sport. So like those guys really like resounded with me, and like I don't even know my word, but really just like they really impacted me, and like their journey really impacted me as well. I have like other people like I look up to now, just to like name a few, like Chris Spring. He's actually when I became a pilot, I actually went to him and I asked him to mentor me. And like he's a 4-time Olympian. He went to 2010 for Australia, and then he went 2014, 2018, and 2022 for Canada. And like he came back from like a traumatic crash back in, I think it was back in 2012, 2015. But like he himself is like a very like smooth driver, chill, level-headed person, and like he's also a person that's like he's a leader that's willing to help anyone, whether like you're the slowest pusher in the program or the fastest pusher in the program. Like he's very humble as well. So like that's I think that's something that I strive to be like, that level-headedness, that chill, being humble as well. And then the other person I look up to as well is actually Cynthia Appia. And she's actually the first black pilot for Team Canada, first black Olympic pilot for Team Canada. So trying to follow essentially a little bit like in her footsteps and like make history there. And like I it's really cool because I kind of got to watch her almost her whole pilot journey, how she went from a brakewoman to a driver, and how she like fought her butt off and battled through all of 2022 Beijing season and like finished in the top 8, and I think both monobob and like 2 women. So yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Those are some people in high places that you have to look to. So that's I love that you have access to these people, right? That you're able to
so cool.
reach out.
So
and
cool.
just gain all that knowledge, right? I feel it's yeah, like you said, it's so cool. There's no real feeling like having people who have been there, done that at the highest level to
Yep.
be able to essentially mentor you through, right?
Yep.
And to just be your friend and like walk you through things, talk you through different things, like you said,
Yep.
bounce like ideas off of back and forth. So
Yep.
I think that's really cool. That is
Man,
really cool.
man, my former strength and conditioning coach, he told me that, you know, success leaves clues. Success leaves clues. So like,
Yes.
why not ask someone, like, why not be bold enough and you know, ask someone to mentor you, you know,
Exactly.
who's
Yeah.
been there 4 times, not just
Yeah,
once, 4
exactly.
times, and
Exactly.
what, you
Not a
know,
mistake. Not a mistake.
it's not a mistake. That's not a coincidence. You've been there 4 times, man.
Exactly. Exactly. Man,
So
that's dope. Dope.
yeah, and like I'm super, like I'm super grateful he said yes, and super grateful he's been like sorry, I'm talking about Chris Spring, but he's been such a great mentor. Like, you know, we make we have contact points throughout the season, and like he makes time to, like, you know, answer WhatsApp messages or even get on a phone call. Like that's rare, you know, and like I hold that with like high respect. So
That's so important, man.
mm-hmm.
That's so important. So shout out to Chris Spring, Cynthia Appia, King. You know, all these people
Neville,
that
right?
have
Yep.
never, right? All the people that have been there, and that continue to break barriers and continue to strive for greatness. It's so important. The clues that you leave behind in your success mean the world. And you're training life because of it.
Yep.
And all I know is that Orion's going to do the same thing as he continues on. Because
Each
there are
one
people
teach
that
one, baby. That's it.
Exactly. We're going to take a quick break in our episode to pay some bills, and we'll be right back. Special shout out to Roundball Basketball, a twofold grassroots entity that not only provides the all-around basketball experience for all athletes of all skill sets, but also uses the game as a platform to impact its community. Contact them at roundball.bc on Instagram to get involved. The Washington Kids Foundation and Game Ready facility has provided a safe place for children and youth to develop and pursue their goals and dreams. The high-level coaches comprised of current and former pro, Olympic and university coaches, and athletes provide a supportive and competitive environment for each individual to be challenged in order to reach new personal bests. The Game Ready and Washington Kids Foundation journey of development ensures the path includes growth of character, leadership, and passion. All attributes that are valued through every stage of life. You've played sports for a while. Have you had challenges when it comes to leadership, and can you speak to those a little bit?
I don't know. I think a big part of like challenges to leadership is when the communication breaks down. I think if you're not able to communicate, be an effective communicator, whether it's like communicating the needs of the team, communicating your needs, communicating the expectations, that's a huge one. Communicating expectations and standards, and then other like even details of like daily plans, like schedule, stuff like that. When that happens, like it creates a mistrust, and it just like it creates a mistrust within the team, and like I think you could lose a little bit of value, not value, but what's the word I'm looking for? Almost like credit. Like people might discredit, or your followers might not trust you as much as a leader.
Yeah.
I think of other challenges. I think when I think when leaders put themselves above the team, you know, like you have coaches who are like I think back to like my Guelph days, coaches who they're paid coaches, and they're pressured to perform, pressured for the team to perform, and you know they might push the team to a certain limit that it's not supposed to go to, and it's for their sake to try to keep their jobs rather than for the sake of the team, you know. So when those things happen, that actually is really disheartening, you know. I think character Character is another thing. If character breakdowns within leadership, that's like integrity, like integrity matters.
Yes.
Integrity matters. Yeah,
it
like
does.
I heard this quote on another podcast. It says not everything that is measured. No, sorry, not everything that counts. Give me a second, guys. Not everything that counts is counted, and not everything that's counted counts.
Ooh, okay.
So not everything that counts is counted, and not everything that's counted counts. So meaning like you might not ever get a gold medal for having integrity, but integrity does matter. And
it matters.
And people don't realize it matters until integrity is compromised, and that person's high skill is like their high skill level. It doesn't matter anymore because their integrity is compromised. And you can look at that like in any type of leadership. You look at that in sports. You can look at that in politics. You can look at that in teaching, whatever it may be, or coaching, whatever it may be. When integrity breaks down, people don't care about your skill.
Yeah.
And it's sad that we wait so long until integrity to break down to worry about skill. And like, you know, it's opposite in like the way God looks at us. God looks at our integrity first and then provides our skill, right?
Exactly.
I kind of went on a little rant there, but integrity matters.
That's okay. Honestly, that comes full circle back to what you mentioned before, that you have to be able to lead by example. Right. And whatever that example is, that's what people are going to see. They'll take that over your word any day.
Yep.
Right. If you say, oh yeah, no, we're gonna come to workouts at 5 a.m. and we're gonna commit to this, and you don't show up till 7:30. It's like, bro, like, why are you telling us to be
You're blowing smoke. Nobody wants smoke.
You're blowing all the smoke, bro. Like, what's wrong with you? Like, don't say one thing and do the complete opposite. Like, no, you want to be able to hold yourself to a high standard, right? And you see this in leaders all the time. You see people, for example, just top of my mind, Kobe and Michael Jordan. Two people that demanded greatness out of their team, not just because they wanted greatness from their team, but because they demanded that same greatness out of themselves.
Yeah.
Like, it might not necessarily be the most fair to if you are so much more skilled than other people, then yeah, sure, it maybe don't hold them to the same standard that you're at. But the fact that you hold them to a certain standard and allowing them to grow, or give them the opportunity to grow into that standard, is huge, right? But that's the example that they set. They're pushing themselves in practice. They're working hard in games because they know they have to be ready, and that example that is set, it sets the tone for the rest of the team.
Yep.
Everybody sees this person is a person of integrity. This person, their character is true to who they are and what our team should look like, and we want to follow that person.
Yep.
And so I think it's so important. So Red to No Ray, I think it was great. I think that was fantastic.
Yeah, it's so true, man. And like, people want to follow people that like do what they say they're going to do.
Yes, absolutely.
I want to follow somebody that does what they say they're going to do, and I strive to be that as a leader. Like, I fall short, but God's grace. But I am trying to strive to be that as a leader.
Exactly. How this wasn't part of the thing, but kind of just came to mind. How has your faith kind of kept you going in your sport? How have you been able to kind of keep your character, your integrity through the challenges that comes with being an athlete at the highest level?
That's a good question. How's my faith kept me? One more time. How's my faith kept me in my sport? Or
how's your faith played a role in you keeping your integrity, or you keeping your character strong and your faith strong while being an athlete competing at the highest level?
Yeah. Okay. Well, first, like, I pray over everything, and like, I think one of the goals I had going into this season was to like kind of allow God to work through my sport and to come into my sport. I feel like I did a good job while I was in university playing football, but I felt like I kind of, in some ways, I fell short when I started my bobsled career. Not like I was like people knew as a Christian, I was scared to say I was a Christian, but like I felt like I think that part of my life I didn't allow God to dictate everything in it. And the season I was like, God, like I want you to have everything in this, and like I kind of started off with just like praying, praying for my teammates and stuff like that, and like praying over the team as well. But yeah, I think how has my faith kept my integrity? Like, I'm trying to think of like something tangible because like I think like my I think like I'm more than an athlete. Actually, this is it. Here it is. I think recognizing that your teammates are more than just athletes, and I think in the sport of bobsled, sometimes it gets a bad rap for like pilots treating their brake person, their brakeman or brakewoman, as just like a push time or just a pusher, and that's that. It doesn't matter how you feel. It doesn't matter what you're going through. It doesn't matter about your personal life. That doesn't matter. All that matters is can you push fast to the top of the hill. And like that is a sad way to view a person because it's not one, it's not holistic, and then two, like it really like it devalues a person to just a number. And I think like I hope and I'm striving to keep it as I get better and better at the sport, become better and better of a driver, that I'll always value my teammates as people. And as something I see like Chris Spring does often. He was one thing he told me, like, as you lead your team, you have to recognize who each person is. Like some people are extroverts, some people are extroverts, some people are introverts, and like they need the time alone, or some people need to be around and have community, and like understanding that and understanding like people go through stuff during the season. Like, people have breakups during the season. People like my family had a death during the season. That was hard. People have relationships. I'm married, like other people are married on my team, and like things like that. Like that's real, like people have kids. Like, those are real things. And like you have to recognize the person first before just the push number or just the push time. And I think like having respect for the person that comes from like my faith in Christ is like, I think like God sees us as beautifully and wonderfully made. And if I see my teammates as beautifully and wonderfully made people, then I will treat them that way. And like, even having enough respect to be like, hey, like, I know what you like, letting them know like, hey, if you're gonna be tested tomorrow, like, letting them know like as soon as you know, like, hey, like the coach wants to see what you can do at the top of the hill tomorrow, like be prepared, and letting both, if there's a push off, letting both athletes know that, giving same effort for both athletes, and like even like respecting people's time and like as I said, like communication, like and planning and stuff as well. Like be like, hey, okay, everyone, like at this time we're going to do this, and like be there on time, be ready to go, and if it's going to go overtime, like make sure you're sincere about it and like explain the importance of it. And can you let somebody go so they can, maybe they have schoolwork to do or they have like work they could do, can you let them go so they can do that? Like just like recognizing that. So recognizing people as people, not just as athletes or push times.
Yes,
that's how it's shown through my sport.
That's so important. I think that's so important because one of the biggest things that people miss, I think, a lot of times is that at the end of the day, you're not dealing with numbers or robots. Yes, you are, but at the core of it all, you're dealing with people.
Yeah.
Like relationships matter, how you treat people matter, and as you listen to throughout the season of the podcast, you'll see this. Everybody has said it. It's relationships. Relationships matter so much, right? And being able to strengthen those relationships, being able to like you said, see people as more than athlete. Like, how are you really doing? Like, what's really going on in your family, right? Like getting to the core of somebody and having that relationship with them. I think that goes so far. One, in your cohesiveness as a team, and being able to play unweighted, competes
Yep.
unhinged. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So
Free.
I think that's
Complete free. Yeah.
free.
And
Yeah,
I like what he said there. It's like he's like, okay, so I haven't driven a 4-man sled yet, and I'm like hoping to do it like this season or the next season. But again, like going back to Chris Spring, there's a lot of wise words I get from him, man. Like he explained to me, like, you have a 4-man team, right? Sometimes like there's easy way to find hundredths at the start or hundredths of a second, and he explains it in this way that like sometimes it's team unity and team bonding in itself, or the thought that like your teammates or your brakemen know that you care about them as a person could be 200s. And the craziest thing is that in such a time sport, like 200s, like you're like, oh, that's like nothing, but it adds up at that bottom of the hill. Like 100th at the top, I think is like 3/10 at the bottom. So now we get 200th at the top. Yeah. 3/10 at the bottom. That's a lot, man. That's almost a second.
Wow.
Right? Wow. So just like
it is time, it's so important.
Yeah, and like if you watch the Olympics, like those races are like 2018 race was literally gold medal was tied. Justin Cripps and Francesco Friedrich tied for a gold medal. If they either one of them pushed 100 slower or did a corner 100 slower, that's it. It would have been a silver. So like it's just like those things, and like that's just from a performance aspect, but like more important from like humanity and from like a human point of view, like people respond better when they know they're genuinely cared for and loved.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Yes, one of the I stand by this because I feel that when you get to the highest levels, the athletes, everyone's getting the highest level of training. Everyone is pushing hard.
Yep.
Everyone
has the best program. Everyone has the best therapy.
But what's going to separate you? What is going to separate you is these relationships you have with your teammates. And if your relationship is broken, I'm sorry, you can't tell me you're going to be a better athlete than someone who is.
You won't be a better team. You won't be a better team.
Not at all. And that translates so much further than just athletics too. That's in every area of life. But it frustrates me because people don't see it.
Man, can I give one more example? Let me give one more example.
Yes, please do.
Okay, this is from football, 2015. Right, I had a coach. His name was Stu Lane. Right, and he was coaching at Guelph from 2011 till 2015 was his last season. And his goal throughout from 2011, like I think our team was like, I wasn't there, but our team was like 2-6. He's like, we're gonna win the Yates Cup. And they're like, what? He's like, no, we're building a program that's going to win the Yates Cup. And
the Yates Cup, by the way, for those who don't follow, is the Ontario University Championship.
Yeah,
football.
Sorry, thank you. And like 2013, we got to the semi. 2014, we lost to Mac in that finals by I think 5 points. We didn't give up defense didn't give up a single touchdown. They got a pick six, and then there's field goals from there. And we lost, and we like everyone there, like we're all deeply saddened and hurt because we all wanted to win this championship, not only just for ourselves, but for our coach. For a coach that we knew that deeply loved and cared for every single person. And I don't think it's a coincidence, but he is also a man of faith. And he also was intentional about it too. I remember, oh man, y'all, this is like tear jerking. I remember like that on the eve of like the Yates Cup, like on that provincial championship in 2015, we're in London, Ontario, about to play Western. Statistically, the best offense up to that point. I don't know. I think the 2018 team probably beat them now. But anyways, up to that point, it was statistically the best offense ever. And he gave this speech that like pulled on everybody's heart. He pointed out the seniors and he said, I remember him saying to one guy, he said, Pat McGrath, he's like, man, I'm praying for you. I pray for you every night. I pray that you become the best engineer you can ever be. Points to a different person. I'm praying for you. And and it's like details, not just like, oh, I'm just praying for you. Like people say, I'll pray for
Yeah.
you, but he's like, no, I'm praying for
Yeah.
you, and like I'm hoping the best for you. And it was all outside of football too. I was like, I hope you become a doctor. I hope you become, and like just like all these caring words. He's like, yo, tomorrow, he's like, we're prepared for this game, and like we want to, like, he's like, we're going to win this game because we love each other. And like that's exactly what happened. Like we were at halftime, I think we were down by 5 points or a touchdown or something like that, and we came back and we won the game. And like,
wow,
they had home field advantage. It was crazy.
Yeah.
And it was just because of the love that we felt for our head coach that permeated throughout the team. And like we loved each other as brothers on that team, and we knew we had a mission and we're willing to go above and beyond that. And that's what matters, man.
Yes.
You know?
Absolutely.
That's what matters. So if I didn't hammer the point, I don't know how else we could hammer the point,
you
bro.
Know what I'm saying?
Love your teammates, man. Care for people.
Nothing else I'll get from this podcast, love is important. Relationships matter.
Yeah.
Please. Don't be afraid to text your boy and be like, hey, I love you, because it matters.
Yeah, bro.
It matters so much.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Oh gosh. Anyway. Let's keep it pushing. I love it. I absolutely love this. Okay, so from your perspective of a national team athlete, can you speak to yourself in high school and in college and university, and give yourself some advice on just life advice, pushing forward and all that kind of stuff?
Man, I know when you sent me this question, I was like, man, what would I tell myself, my past self? I'm not a person that lives with a lot of regrets or anything like that. So like I think the only regret I would say is like I wish I did more track in high school, but like speed kills, baby. But like I think man, like mentorship. If wherever you want to be, find a person who's already been there and ask them to mentor you. And like mentorship is so important, and it takes a place of humility. You're literally saying like, hey, I have an idea, I have a dream, I have a passion, and I don't know how to get there without some sort of guidance or some sort of thought or input. You know, I recognize who you are. I see where you've been. I've seen your steps, and I feel like your story can help me get there. Can you help me? Can you guide me? You're saying I don't know. I need help. I need guidance, and that takes that's humility, bro.
Yes.
That's humility, bro. Yes. And I think when it comes like, I think like a lot of people can ask people to mentor them, and then like the mentees follow through is not great. And that like really disheartening. That really disheartening, because like, you know, if your follow through isn't great as a mentee, like if they say, you know what, you need to do this and this, and you don't do that, then it's, to me, you're saying you don't really value their mentorship.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So like, you know, like from like respecting their time to respecting, I don't use the word advice, but like their insights or their stories, because I think stories are big too, and like where they've been and their experiences, like it's important to respect those things. So yeah, like I think like, you know, mentorship's a huge one, man. Like that's a huge one.
Exactly. Find someone you trust. Find somebody who's been there. Yeah. Reach out to them. Here, the image that I have in my mind when I think of mentorship is a slingshot, right? Oh. How does the exactly? You have to pull it back. Oh. And let it go.
To move forward.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh. You know what I'm saying? Okay.
Humble yourself, take a step back, get that mentorship, and then boom, go. You know what I'm saying? You have to do that.
And then you're dangerous.
And then you're dangerous. Yeah. Exactly. Exactly. Yes, that's the image I had in my mind. But I think we need to come to a place where we understand that humility is not weakness.
Yeah.
Humility is not weakness. No. Humility is strength.
Yeah.
Humility is saying that I don't know everything, but I want someone to teach me. I'm going to become quote unquote the dumbest person in the room so I can learn from all these people, right? How do you become a billionaire? You step in a room with other billionaires, right? You learn from them how they did their thing and how they got to a place. How do you become the best athlete on a team? You go to the best athletes on the team. You learn from them. You do what is necessary, and that's not saying you have to be a carbon copy of somebody, right?
No,
you become a sponge, right? My wife and I have this conversation all the time. Become a sponge, right? You think of a dry sponge. Now you hold it under a tap of water. It's going to soak up all this information, but once it's full, it's going to start leaking out stuff that's not necessary. You don't have to take absolutely everything from everybody else. You don't have to be their twin, their carbon copy. You be yourself, but still take that information, learn, and then go be useful. Go be dangerous. Right. I think it's so important. That's huge. That is mentorship to a T, and it's so cool that we're able to have had that for ourselves growing up, and now be able to do that for somebody else.
Yeah. Shout out to Victor Dang, hey, for
Dang, bro.
Mentored both of us, bro.
I don't know how much you do for the people that you mentor, Vic, but we love you, man.
Yes, sir.
Vic, bro, you're doing your thing.
Yes,
doing
sir.
your thing.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Spiritual mentor, bro.
Before I let you go, one, I appreciate you. I love you, bro. Thank you for this podcast. Thank you for this episode. I'm gonna steal a segment from one of my favorite podcasts, All the Smoke, with Steven Jackson and Matt Barnes. But here's the question.
Okay.
Who would you like to see on the podcast? Ooh. But you have to help us get them on the show. And remember, this is the Leadership Academy. So leaders that you see, the pro athlete edition. So those who are current or retired pro athletes.
Current or retired? Oh, geez, who do I?
Or national team members. Yeah. There's you're surrounded by a few. You mentioned a bunch of them already, but whoever you think would be a great guest for this show, we'd love to have them.
Oh my gosh, shoot! Oh. Man, I have a couple. Okay, I don't know. Like, this name is like just stuck on my head. I think when you mentioned baseball, I thought about one of the training partners I had back in Toronto. He's now with the Oakland A's, and his name's Denzel Clark.
Denzel Clark,
and he's like, I would say he's a quiet dude, but I could tell he's a little bit more like reserved. But I feel like he would have a story. I think he would have a story. And
if you can hook it up, I love to have the conversation.
I think I can make it happen, so we'll see.
That's perfect. Orion, appreciate it, bro. Thank you so much for this. It's been a great episode. Where I'm definitely gonna put your IG in the show notes. Yeah. People can follow you. Good luck in your journey, in your training, in your competing. 2026 is coming quick, so we're gonna be there right there with you, bro.
Yep.
We will.
Yep.
Absolutely. Ladies and gentlemen, that is another episode of the Beyond the Game podcast. Follow us, leave a review, like, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Do what you gotta do. We love you guys. Peace.
Different names for success, but we gon' taste. Keeping metal on 10, gon' be okay. Gold medals round neck, CFL rings, Bill Kings, Queens, BTG, repeat rotate.